Hello, everyone. It's William here at Allegory Gallery, and I'm back at Allegory Gallery. Today, we are going to chat a little bit, as we always do, and then we are going to show you some tools. Tools are something that every jewelry maker needs. We have a decent assortment of them back here in the classroom space and throughout the store. So I pulled a few things that we're going to take a look at today, and I'm going to go run for a few other things while we're on the video here. I didn't want to take everything off the shelf and have a pile of stuff in front of me, so I'll be going back and forth today. But we've shown these on store tours, but never up close to the point where you could easily kind of purchase them. So we know a lot of you, especially if you are, kind of advanced makers, already have your tools most likely, but you might see something today that you don't have, or you might see something that you need to replace today. And so we're going to show you the tools that we keep in stock here in the store. And if you want any of these things, all you have to do is take a screenshot or send us a very good description of what you're wanting in an email to info@allegorygallery.com, and that is up across the top there. And I think I also have one here, so that'll be scrolling across the bottom. So who's here with me today? We have Facebook users saying, hello, William Jones. I'm Andrew Thornton, AGB fam. Thanks for tuning in. Whomever you are, you may want to go over and go to StreamYard.com/Facebook and re-authenticate yourself. Because Facebook isn't letting us see your username or your profile picture. Hello, Susan. Thank you for joining in. Donis is anxious to see what this is all about. It's about tools. It's about tools, everybody. Hello, June. Thank you for joining in. Teresa is here with us. Linda, hello. Hello, Marianne. Thank you for joining in today. Norma is with us as well. Let's see here. Oops. Sorry, everything skipped. Our other friend Teresa is with us. Hello so much. Thank you so much for joining in. My brain is fried today, y'all. Hair looks great. Now keep your hands off of it. How about that? Yeah, my hair is wild today. It's doing whatever it wants, and that's fine, because right now I have no energy to care, y'all. You ever have one of those days? I'm having one of those days where if I could have slept in all day, like until now, and just stayed in bed, I would have. That would have been my preferred going through the motions today, going through no motions. Oh, Suzanne, that was you waiting on Facebook today, waiting for a repairman. That doesn't sound great, but I hope it's okay. I hope all is okay. Let's see here. Andrew says, hopefully everyone enjoyed Kittapalooza. Yes, Kittapalooza, done. The kits are still here. The kits are still available. We've sold out of, I think it was 10 kits so far, if I counted right. So we're down to 40 kits out of the 50 that we released. We only have a few of the number 50 kit, which is the fundraiser for Tucson. Not for Tucson, for Touchstone. I told you, my brain is fried. The fundraiser for Touchstone Center for Crafts is kit number 50. It is $50, and the proceeds from the sales of that kit go directly to the fundraiser for Touchstone, of which Andrew is a board member, and it is a place very near and dear to our hearts. Andrew would not spend his time working with them if it weren't. So we're very excited about that, so thank you so much. Andrew's working on making kits right now. Kitting them up or making new ones? What are you working on, Andrew? Me, I started my day having to do a bunch of stuff for my other job. So I got down here to the store, and it was a little bit quiet here. It was pretty quiet today. We had a few people come in that I got to chat with today, but mostly very quiet in store for the Monday. And I started doing a lot of work for my other job that I had to kind of pressing stuff for me to get ready to go in tomorrow. There's a lot going on. at my other job, and it's really starting to take a little bit of a toll on me between Kittapalooza and that work and some other things that we're doing, and me trying to keep up with the tutorials. I started editing another Saturday morning tutorial today, after I worked on my other job stuff and got that to a point where I could pause. And so yeah, it's been one of those days that, if I could have stayed in bed and just slept all day, that would have been great. But that's not an option, right? It's also one of those days that you ever have a day where you just feel like everything makes you a little bit angry, or a little bit like you're like, here, you've been maxed out and every little thing just keeps pushing you a little bit further into the maxed out territory? That's me right now. So I apologize if I'm a little tongue twisted today, or a little bit, disoriented seeming. There's nothing medically wrong. It's just me having a lot too much on my mind. Let's see here. Andrew says, if folks are interested, there is still 1 week to apply for scholarships at Touchstone. So if you would like to take classes, or, see Touchstone, there are scholarships available. Touchstone is about an hour and a half or so away from us. So it would be a great time if you wanted to take a class. Like, they have like week-long classes, or I think they have some weekend classes. You could come stay at Touchstone. They have cabins and places to stay, take some classes, and then come visit us every day after your classes or between classes or whatever, and come up and hang with us at Allegory. So if you'd like to apply for any of those scholarships, you can do that. Andrew said there's 1 week left to get your applications in to take amazing classes. Touchstone teaches many different things. There are ceramics, there are jewelry making classes, there are painting classes, I believe, and classes in glass. And I think I'm forgetting some things. Andrew can fill us in. But there are lots of fun things. If you go to Touchstone, I think touchstonecenter.org, I think that's the web address. If you search for them on Google, they'll pop right up. I also have a link in the kit number 50 description that links to the actual donation page. If you'd like to make a donation in addition to buying a kit, or if you don't want that kit and you want to make a donation anyway, you can do it that way too. So let's see here. Andrew says it takes hours and hours to sort everything out. So he is sorting the kits. Yeah, we make one master kit to show y'all. So when we were doing the previews on the videos, we were showing you the master kit we've made. So, Andrew has a large store of beads and various gemstones and things like that. And most of it is all at Star Cottage Studio, which has been without power for the entire weekend and most of today. And so Andrew was running over to Star Cottage during the day while I was at the store, pulling things for kits, bringing some of it back, and then starting to make the kits from what he could pull and bring back. It was not easy. It was not easy. And then after that, once we make the one, we know what we need to do for that one, and he counts out the available materials, so I know how many to put in the online store. But then he goes back and you have to take everything, take any labels that are off, because these are not already made for the store floor here. They are things that he has bought, or things that he has in his private collection, or things we've acquired in our private collection. So everything has to have the labels taken off. Everything has to have things cleaned up sometimes. Everything has to be counted or sorted. And then each kit behind the master kit. So if there are 10 of a kit, he has to do this for 10 different times. It takes hours and hours and hours. So in between cooking dinner last night, while I was adding kits, well, every night actually, between dinner, While I was adding things, taking pictures of the kits and adding them to the online store, he was sorting them out and making more. This is so that Barb can continue just shipping and not having to make these kits. Sometimes we just hand over the raw materials to Barb and she takes the labels off things and makes all the kits. But with her backed up in shipping, and even more backed up now that we have had no electricity for a few days, she had plans to come in to catch up some this weekend, and that didn't work out. So hang in there with us. Shipping is happening. And I had plans to go in with her to help her for a few hours each day. I had cleared my mornings, and then the power went out and stayed out. So I never got over there to help her in the mornings, and it's not going to happen at least probably until Wednesday morning now. So, but we are still shipping every possible day. Today the power came back on here late this afternoon at Star Cottage Studio, and the internet came back on. So we are now back up. Barb went over and started shipping again. So that is all starting to happen again, finally. So hang in there with us. We will get your stuff out. Let's see here. Andrew says, thankfully, our community makes us happy, and looking at useful things is helpful. Yes. Yeah, when I get very like this, it's nice to take a pause. I often take time off from trying to make posts or share a lot of things, and just sometimes I spend time in the design challenge group and take a look at what people are doing. Today I had some inventory things that I had to do at the store, and that's good. That kind of, you can't do anything but inventory when you're doing inventory. When you're receiving things and adding them to the system, there's nothing else you can do. You just have to get that done. So it felt good to get the live going. I will say that, because it has been a rough day. It has been a rough number of days. Kittapalooza was fun, but Kittapalooza was extra lives during the weekend. That normally the weekend is a little bit of a downtime for me, not necessarily in the work we have to do, but in the visual, which I love doing these, but they do take a lot of energy too. So it's been a lot. And I think a lot of things on my mind for my other job are really what are happening. And I can't really, unfortunately, discuss most of those things with y'all because they're all behind the scenes stuff right now, mostly. So it's just a lot. It's just a lot. There, Andrew put it up. Touchstonecrafts.org. So touchstonecrafts.org is the web address for Touchstone Center for Craft. If you want to fill out a scholarship application or you want to do a donation, you can do it all right there. Let's see here. Hello, Susan. Thanks for tuning in. Andrew says, if I have time, I like to kit up everything before, but when we do Kittapalooza, there are so many that we have to do it this way. Yeah. Yeah, when there are 50 kits being released in 5 days, there's no way to have them all done beforehand. So that's when we show you the master kit, and then Andrew spends the background time. It's always work time. It's not like we have extra somehow background time, right? But we carve out time to do that. Let's see here. Nancy says, I struggle with virtual communication. Yeah, it's something, when you have a small business, and many of you who watch these videos have small businesses, or at least sell your things sometimes, even if it's at, different kinds of fairs or, farmers markets or things like that, other kinds of markets. It's not always easy to turn it off, right? Because if you're not communicating in person, you are expected to communicate virtually, right? In email or in messages. And when you are just mostly a two-person business. It's mostly Andrew and me. We have Barb to help with shipping. But we have Jen, our teacher, of course, who comes and does classes, thank goodness. But when most of this stuff is handled by us, people know that they can find us and they can reach out to us. And we try to be available as much as possible. And sometimes, even though you know for your mental health, it's good to shut that stuff off sometimes. It's hard not to, when you see that email come in and you're like, okay, I can either think about this email for the next 3 hours, or I can just answer this email, right? And a lot of you probably do the same thing at your regular jobs too. Like sometimes you have something else you want to do, but you see that notification come up and it's somebody emailing and you're like, I know I could answer that fairly quickly, or if I don't now, I'm just going to think about it until I finally get around to answering it. So then you answer it. And then of course, when you answer that one email, then you start looking at your other inboxes, or you start looking at your other messages, or that leads to something else. So it's really hard to shut things off sometimes. And then when you're doing a big event like Kittapalooza, it's doubly hard to do that because your workday is extended even longer than sometimes normal, and so you're just in work mode longer. And so for me, I have to say, I'm a little bit worn out right now, but it's okay. It'll all clear up. Hopefully in the next few days when I get to talk with my supervisor at my other job, and we get some things moving, because there's been a lot of things that have been up in the air at this moment for me. And that's one of the worst things in the world for me, is to know that there are things coming, but you have no control and you have no idea what those things are yet. And you have no power to get ahead, right? You have no power to start working on stuff yet. That makes me crazy. That reminds me of corporate kind of stuff. And left the corporate world for some of those reasons, right? Don't want to go back to that. Andrew has had a great day, he says. I've had a great day. I got a lot of work done on the new painting. It was a beautiful day, and I found that I won a grant from the Society of Inclusive Blacksmiths to take Elizabeth Brim's workshop at Center for Metal Arts. So Andrew's doing great. Andrew's doing great over there. So that's good. I'm glad. I'm happy when Andrew is happy. And he works very hard at these scholarships and grants and applying for all these things. And so I'm glad that he was able to get that. Hello, Michelle. Hello, Wanda. Thank you all for tuning in. Vanessa's the class on Saturday was a good one. The Saturday morning tutorial, I'm glad you liked it. If you have not seen that yet, it's still there. You can go to youtube.com/allegory gallery and you can watch the Saturday morning tutorial that Jen did for us and I edited. There will be another one coming this Saturday, and there will be another one coming the Saturday after that. I'm working on this Saturday's now. I hope to have that edited depending on what I have to do tonight. I hope to possibly have that finished and edited tonight. The recording for that is just over an hour long, and editing usually takes 2.5 to 3 times as long as the filming is. That's generally what I've heard, and that's generally what has been happening. So I'll spend I've already spent probably a half hour editing. I will spend probably another 2.5 to 3 hours editing that if all goes as planned. And then it has to be exported, which the export takes about as long to do as the video is itself. Sometimes it's a little faster, depends what kind of format I get it out in. And then once that's done, I have to watch it through one more time, which takes as long as the video is. And then that is then uploaded to YouTube and set up as a premiere to come out on Saturday. So this one, I'll give you a little peek. Where is it? Now, some of you may already know how to do these. I don't know, but this is the tutorial that we are going to be doing this Saturday coming. This is a macrame zipper bracelet is what Jen calls this. So it's with the macrame knots on the side. You have the seed beads here, and she's going to show you how to make this macrame zipper bracelet. So that's what I'm editing now, and I hope you will all enjoy that. Please, when you're watching those videos, and like this video now, any videos you watch from us, please make sure to hit the thumbs up and the like and the love and all that good stuff, because that really helps. That really helps a lot. And I know, like, we had 100 and some views on last week's tutorial. We had 600 some views on the week before, the premiere one, the very first one we did. And we only get a fraction of thumbs ups. So I'm hoping that people are liking it, but without a thumbs up or a comment, we don't know if you actually are liking it. So the more people that give us those thumbs ups, that helps us know too. Not only does it help YouTube know, but it tells us that you like the content. Right now, the way I look at it, only about 1/4 of the people who watched this Saturday's liked that content. So I don't know if that's true. So hopefully more people than that are liking what we do, but the thumbs up is really the only gauge that we have. That, along with if you comment on it, that's the only gauge we have to know if you like what we're doing. So please hit those thumbs up. They are very important in so many ways. If you don't like this video, maybe you didn't like the macrame stuff, then we need to tell Jen, like, hey, our people aren't doing this macrame. They don't want this. They're watching this video, but they're not thumbs upping it. They're not liking the macrame stuff. So that's why it's important. It also tells the algorithms that we're popular if we get a lot of them, and we're not if we don't. So YouTube says, I'm not going to show anybody Allegory Gallery on their homepage because nobody likes their stuff. Or I'm going to show everybody who likes beading Allegory Gallery because a lot of people who like beading are already thumbs upping this. So that's why it matters. And that's why I keep, like a broken record, I'm going to keep saying it. If you like our stuff, please give us those thumbs ups, especially on YouTube. It matters a lot. It also matters a lot on Facebook. So thank you. Thank you for doing it. And I'm glad you liked it, Vanessa. Let's see here. Marianne says, speaking of farmers markets, our neighborhood one is coming back. Yay. That's awesome. I love farmers markets and country markets. Ours here is called a country market, the Ligonier Country Market. And it's a little bit different from a farmer's market in that it just doesn't have just produce and flowers and things. It also has crafted goods and handmade goods and baked goods and all that. Andrew says, we're so thankful for all the support. Yes, we are. Andrew says, thank you everyone for allowing us to do stuff like Kittapalooza. Yeah, it's, you know, I say yes, it's a lot of work for us on our side, but it's not wasted work because of all of you. Like I'm worn out from all the weekend stuff and everything that we've been doing in my other job, but I am not, you know, it's not worn out for no reason, because then I would be in bed and I would just be depressed and sleeping the day away. But I still get up and I do my things because I know that we have one of the best support systems out there, and you all really came together. Like, we've sold out on 10 different Kittapalooza kits. That's a whole day's worth. And that says a lot. So we thank you for that. And if you haven't seen them all, there are still 40 of them or so. I think there's 40, if no more have been bought since then. There are still 40 of those kits remaining. So I hope you'll go to our website, allegorygallery.com. That's up here too. And right at the top of the website, I have a big blurb about Kittapalooza. You can hit that and you can see all of the Kittapalooza stuff there. And don't forget, we also launched the Ava Motherwell collection during Kittapalooza. So if you missed some of that, there's some beautiful Italian polyester beads and German resin beads, both modern and vintage, available. So if you miss those, please check those out. They're so cool. They're so fun. Very fanciful things sometimes, and I love them. So if you miss those, they are on our website as well, allegorygallery.com. Just scroll down past the main shop now, shop here things, and you'll see the Ava Motherwell collection pop up as well. Julie says that's a cool bracelet, right? I think it's really nice. I think it's really nice. And she gives you, of course, Jen being Jen, not only does she tell you how to make this exact one, this is the one she made. She gave that to me so I would have it. But she tells you how to do various things. If you want it maybe a little bit more masculine or just bigger in general, she tells you tips on how you can make this bigger and how you can add more beads or different colors and do whatever you want with it. So that's going to be this Saturday morning at 8:30 a.m. launching on YouTube only. These are YouTube only tutorials. And the reason we did that, one, we are trying to boost our YouTube numbers, of course, because YouTube displays ads, and we are monetized now on YouTube. So we have ads, and if you watch those ads, we get a little money from those ads. So that always helps. If you are with YouTube Premium, we also get a little cut of your little premium monthly billing that you pay whenever you watch our videos. So you are still helping, because we had a lot of people asking that before. What if I'm a premium? How do you actually get anything from it? And we do get a little bit from it. So that all helps. And also YouTube is one of those things that anybody can watch, even if you don't have an account. And more people lately are not on Facebook. And we are encountering that a lot recently, that a lot more people are moving away from it. I don't necessarily know if that's a great thing or not, but I don't, I complain about Facebook probably as much as anyone else, but I do like the ability to, to connect with people that way. But more and more people that are starting to come into our community here in this little world that we're building don't have Facebook. So we didn't want to make it a Facebook only thing. We are making it a YouTube only thing. YouTube makes it very easy to create these videos in advance and upload them and have them ready to go for you all. They just have a really good system for it, and it really works well. So that's why they're YouTube only. You don't have to have a YouTube account to watch them. But if you want to like and comment and help us out by subscribing and thumbs upping everything, you do need to start and set up an account with them. But if you're already searching, if you have a Gmail account or you're already searching on Google, you may already have an account. Many people do. Hello, Sandra. Thanks for tuning in. Let's see here. Oops. Ooh, lots of comments happening. Lots of comments happening here. Michelle says, having a frustrating day trying to find someone to make a Sally and Jack Peyote stitch pattern bracelet for my friend who's in ICU for 2 weeks. I don't know what that is, but I'm sorry you're having a frustrating day too. It's hard, right? It's hard. It is. I know personally today. Hello, Cindy. Thanks for joining us today. Linda says, I know exactly what you mean about the editing time of video and the lack of likes per view on YouTube. Yeah, it's hard, right? Like, I make it a point when I watch YouTube videos now, and that's because, once you're on the other side of things, you start to realize all this stuff. Like, okay, so if you're just on Facebook with friends, you like a thing here and there. You start a business and you start sharing posts on Facebook, and you realize that, oh, liking these things help. So now you want to tell people, please like the posts. And it's the same with YouTube. Like, I used to just watch YouTube videos and just keep watching. And now whenever I watch somebody that I really like, I make it a point to pause the video, because I watch a lot on the TV. I pause the video, I go into the menu. It's like extra steps on the TV. It's easy on your phone or your iPad or whatever, but on a TV, there's usually extra steps involved. But I take those extra steps to go to the like button, hit that like button, that thumbs up, because it does matter. It does matter. Andrew says, I'd love to do our country market maybe next year. Maybe. I think, it might be a good thing for us if we weren't, like, we're spread so thin. If one of us had to get up at like 4 or 5 a.m. to go set up at the market, I think we might, it might lead to some disastrous moments. So yeah, maybe next year we can get this all sorted out a little bit this year and maybe get a little bit of help either just for the market or in store or whatever. Because I don't think I could get up at 4 a.m., do the market until noon, tear down, and then come in and open the store or watch the store. I don't think I could do that. I know I could not. I know I could. It would not be good though. Hello, Amanda. Thanks for joining in. Let's see. Michelle says, I just need the pattern. Maybe somebody out there, maybe Linda can help you with the pattern. What is Andrew saying? Some of the kits are super low quantity. Oh, quantity. I read that as quality first. I'm like, what kits are we talking about? Because ours are not low quality. Oh, yeah, I told you if I have mental breakdowns here and speaking breakdowns, there's nothing wrong with my health. I'm just maxed out. Yeah, some of the kits that we've made are super low quantity right now. So 10 of them have sold out, I think. And more of them are getting ready to. So thank you all for buying. A lot of you have bought a lot of them, but they are still available. If you haven't caught them all, I hope you'll check them out. Marianne says, so many gorgeous kits, but not enough money. I get it. I get it. There's always a few weeks from now, right? Maybe. We'll see what's left. We'll see what's left. Andrew says, I love the glitter beads. Glitter beads. Susan says, very pretty bracelet by Jen. Yeah, isn't that nice? I was watching, as I've been watching this tutorial today, editing it, I have wanted to make one of these. I think this could be cool to make for myself. She teaches this a lot in our in-store classes. When somebody needs a project and they're like, I don't know what I want to do. I don't know. I'm not really, they don't want to put gemstones together. They don't want to do stringing. She gives them this and they get hooked. They get hooked on this. So she's giving you one of those things that we use in here in store to hook people onto making stuff right there. Marianne says, love the way Jen makes sure that variations are described. Yeah, she does a very good job of that. And that's not even something that we had to clue her in on. She just does that naturally. And I think that's because she's been working with people in store for so many years. She just kind of knows what people kind of want and need and expect. And so like the kind of questions that come up, and luckily she doesn't wait for those questions to come up, right? She answers them for you before you have to even ask. Pamela says, YouTube doesn't seem to freeze as much as Facebook. That is true as well. And you can watch us in higher quality. I don't know if you all know, if you're not checking, the Tuesday tutorials, that's Andrew. The Saturday morning tutorials, you can watch them in up to 4K. So on these lives, we are able to broadcast at 1080p, which is the very first step in high definition. 1080p is what it takes to be considered high definition television. So that's what these are streamed on. If you're watching on YouTube, you can kick it up to 1080p. If you're watching on Facebook, Facebook limits their streams unless you're a gaming page. If you're a gaming page, then some of those gaming pages, they allow up to 1080, but everyone else 720p, which is standard definition television. On our Saturday morning tutorials, we film those in 4K, which is, like the 4K TVs, the super high definition. You can watch our tutorials in 4K if you want to, and anywhere in between. You can go all the way down to, I think it's 320 up to 4K. So whatever works best for your internet service. You need some nice internet service sometimes to watch at 4K at that high definition. But you can watch much better quality on YouTube from us than you can on Facebook. So that's another thing. And that's another reason we are doing those videos on YouTube only, because they are tutorials. We want them to be super clear and crisp for you, and YouTube allows us to do that. Let's see here. Andrew says, I think one thing that matters is that YouTube is actually a search engine, and they've definitely helped with democratizing educational information. Yes. Yes. You can go to YouTube and you can find anything. I have repaired, what have I repaired? I have repaired our tub, shower and tub, using YouTube. I have repaired toilets using YouTube. I've done sink drains using YouTube. So plumbing, I've done a lot of plumbing using YouTube. And I've looked up a lot of other things in addition to that. So it's definitely a good source of information, and we are trying to add to those good sources of information by doing our Saturday morning tutorials, and we'll have more for you coming up. Andrew and I are planning to get together sometime, somehow, to film him doing more tutorials for YouTube as well. So in addition to his Tuesday tutorials that he does live, we are going to start a series of other tutorials as well there. Norma says, I still need to watch Kiddapalooza Day 5, but I did take a look at the kits, trying to decide what I want to buy from days 4 and 5 without killing my budget. We get it. We get it. And we appreciate it. That's for sure. Cheryl says, you both did a great job on the kits this weekend. I had fun watching and shopping. Thank you. And we're getting those kits. Like I said, Andrew is working hard to get those kits all set up. I think pretty much all he's been doing at night is kits and painting. Kits and painting. When he takes a break from kits, he does some painting. When he's been painting, he takes a break and does kits. So those should be able to ship out fairly quickly. And like I said, I'm going to be trying to get in there with Barb some morning or some evening, sometime, and help her clear the decks a little bit. So you may even pull Andrew in to do some collecting of things and processing of orders, shipping, packing of orders. Andrew says, getting up early doesn't bother me. It's just preparing and getting everything ready in advance. Getting up early, that bothers me sometimes. I'm not an early person. I'm trying so hard. Like in my brain and in my heart, I would love to convert. And, I have these, the grass is greener type of things in my head. I have these scenes of me getting up and making some tea or something and just sitting and, contemplating the day. And it has not happened. It has not happened. Helen says, the thumbs up button is not on the video. Somehow it's hidden from me. That's weird. That is weird. It's probably, if you're watching on a smaller device, you have the live chat. You have to X out the live chat sometimes, because that's, I think, down below. Sometimes you X that out and the buttons are there. And then you can hit the button to bring the live chat back. That's usually how it is, if I remember correctly. That Teresa just answered it below there. You have to exit on the live chat and you'll see the buttons. Thank you, Teresa. That's where it is. Amanda says, guess what? It's snowing again. At least we won't get thunder, snow, and lightning like we did on Friday. That was wild. The sky flashed magenta. That's kind of cool. But not when you have to shovel for hours and hours like you did, right? Andrew says, I got a flat tire off that was cold welded on using YouTube. Yeah, Andrew's out in the freezing cold watching YouTube, trying to figure out how to get a cold welded tire off the car. Let's see here. Andrew says, I let the layers dry on the painting and then kit things up. Suzanne is back We need a new oven. Oh no. Oh no. You know, those things are fun, but they're not fun to have to buy when you absolutely need one, right? They're fun to buy or think about buying when you don't need one. And then when you absolutely have to, it usually comes at least for us, it always comes at like the worst possible moment. Um, it's never like when we're having like a bang out month and it's like, we got to spend this money, but at least we have it. No, it's always like, where are we going to make this from? So hopefully everything's okay. Hopefully it's a good month for you and it's not going to be too hard on you to get a new oven. All right, I'm caught up to most of the comments. And so we're going to take a look at some tools today after my blabbering here a little bit. But it was good to catch up, good to let some of that out. Let it out, right? I've been talking to myself mostly all day, so it's good to talk to actual people out there. I'm going to flip the camera around, and we are going to take a look at some of the tools that we have here in store. Okay, settings changing all the time. This is the camera I think we use. My stand, let me see. Come on. Why is my stand all backwards? You see how messy my desk isn't too messy, but I got lots of stuff going on. Okay, let's move this. This is, that's for my aunt. And let's see here. Marion says, I talk to the cats a lot. I do too. We need a store cat or something here, right? We need a store cat. Let me put this here because the color is all wrong. I've not used the wide angle camera since here at the store since it came out. So getting this adjusted is a little bit wild. So you're not seeing my feet. That's better color, right? So again, here, this is a better close-up of this. This is the macrame zipper bracelet that you're going to be creating if you want to follow along with Jen on Saturday morning. I'm getting that edited now, and that'll be up on YouTube, ready for a premiere shortly. Barnaby just looked at me, Andrew said, and gave me stink eye when you said you needed another cat. Maybe Barnaby just needs to come down to the store with me. Suzanne says yes to the store cat. Maybe Barnaby just needs to come down with me every day. Susan says we're in the market this year for a new oven and dishwasher. We've been in this house 20 years, so stuff wears out. Yeah, it does, right? Yes, it does. Andrew said, this week I want to start painting at the new place. Oh boy. Susan says, I talk to my cats a lot. I think they occasionally understand what I'm saying. Barnaby does. I know Barnaby does. All right. Let's see here. Andrew says, get his backpack on and go to work. That'd be so cute. Barnaby with his little backpack. Teresa says, will Saturday's tutorial have the supply list? It always, yes, we always try to put the supply list there. So that will be included in the description of the video when it comes out for premiere. We do our best to have them all. Sometimes I don't have all the information from Jen, but I try to get it from her as much as I can. Okay. All right. So first, we're going to start off with little tools and little things, or things maybe you don't even consider tools really. And the first one today is a big eye needle. A big eye needle. So this needle, the eye starts here and goes to here. That whole thing is the eye of the needle, and it splits apart and you can thread through that. This is a 5-inch needle. These are $1.25 each. $1.25 each. And these are very useful. for a lot of things actually. But whether you're bead weaving, sometimes these are a little bit large for that. But I've used these for different things, and you never know when you might want a very large eye needle. And so, like I said, the eye starts here and goes to about here. So that is all 2 pieces of metal that can pull apart that you can put things through there. So there you go. So those are $1.25 each. If you want a big eye needle, I have a number of them available. Easy to use, makes things a lot easier sometimes when you are trying to thread anything. I'm trying to think what I used it for last. I think it was a stretchy bracelets. We have some of the stretch cord, and sometimes these needles are easier to pull the stretch cord through beads than trying to fish it through, because it's a little bit, finicky sometimes. And we have this other kind of stretch cord from Japan, I believe, and we use these needles to help get things through. Andrew said these are really wonderful if you need to see things in a pattern. So there you go. Let's see. Andrew said also good for unconventional stringing materials. Yes, they are. Yes, they are. All right, what else is next? So we also have regular, smaller beading needles. These range from $1.50 to $2.25, depending on the size. So size 10, 11, 12, and 13 beading needles. There's all these, depending on what you're looking for. And we have these in stock. So the odd numbers, 11 and 13, are $1.50 each, and the even numbers are $2.25 each. Why is that? I don't know, but that's what they are. So maybe because they're longer, I don't know, bigger. So we have those if you're interested in those. These are all things that are not on the website, y'all, and that's why I'm showing them to you here. Not on the website, but you can get them here on our video. Just take a screenshot or send us a good description. Like if you say size 11 needle, I'm going to know what that is. All right. The other thing we have one of these left. And the box is a little bit worn out, a little bit. But this is $6.50 only. This is a dapping block in wood. Dapping block in wood. Andrew says some of the new needles just break. Yeah, these ones are good. These ones I've not had problems with. Michelle says I think 10 is the most common. I would say yes, because 10 is the one we sell the most of. So this is a dapping block that you can use to form metal. You get the 2 wooden dapping punches, and then you get the block. And I just have one of these left. I don't even know why we still have one. We just don't do a lot of this showing this in class. We did it at one point. We sold a bunch of these, and I have one left. So we have this, $6.50 only. I think that's a great deal from Vintage. And if you like that, Andrew said these are great if you don't want to distort a pattern. Yeah, if you're shaping metal and you have a pattern in your metal, the wood is good for not distorting patterns. All right, so one of those, if you want that, let us know, send us an email, and we can ship that out to you. All right, that is what is in my little tray here. So now, I told you I'm going to run back and forth. So I'm going to go and over here to the other side of the room, I'm going to grab some things. I'm going to grab some things a few at a time, come back, and then go back and grab a few more things. That way nothing gets too crazy here. And I don't leave myself a mess to clean up later. So here, so Andrew is also saying metal dapping blocks can flatten patterns. The wood absorbs the force. Right. So now here we have the hexagonal staking anvils. There's 15 holes in this and 5 different slots. So if you need a staking anvil, we have this one. We also have a round one. So this one's $11. This one's $14.50. So those we have available in store. Andrew said also wooden dapping blocks get chewed up. It's what they're designed for. Original wood dapping blocks were tree stumps. So there's that. And then we have the mini anvil. Andrew uses these sometimes in his demonstrations, and people were asking us, where did you get that? I want one of those. So this is a mini horn anvil, $18. I have one of these left only. We brought these in, sold a bunch of them. So this is available if you would like that as well. And you can do little metal projects. Jen was showing you on the earring tutorial, not this past Saturday, but the first tutorial, how to, use a hammer and to make your metal harder so that it's not as soft. And you could use this to do that on if you wanted to. Andrew says the hex ones are nice because they fit in a vise and they don't move around. So there you go. Andrew says the mini handles are great for work hardening small things. Yeah, like Jen was doing those infinity loops that she made. And she was hardening those, and she was hardening some, I think, jump rings. So these are nice little, you can use this for that if you want to. All right. So that's those. You can go get some more stuff. Andrew says jump rings, ear wires, ring shanks, so many things you can use that little mini anvil for, right? And then, let's see here. So now we're going to get into some jewelry making tools for things like stringing and things that we do here in store. So we have cutters. You might want cutters. I have 2 different sizes of cutters. Some people like short handles, some people like the longer handle. It's up to you. We have both. These are both priced at $12, whether you want the short or the long. This is 4.5 inches. This is 5 inches. And these are easy cut. They have a nice softer handle on them. And yeah, need cutters? We got cutters. And these let you get really close up. You can see the one side in this one and the other side in this one. These let you get really close up to whatever you're using, which is really nice. Andrew says, I used a mini anvil for years before I upgraded to a bigger one. Andrew said, if you have smaller hands, the shorter ones are good for ergonomics. So depending on if you have, how you like it. You want a smaller pair, you want a longer pair. It's not much of a difference, but when you're holding them, like you can see here in my hand how much, like that's pretty small. I would probably go with the larger size. All right. Next up, we have these. These are $16.25, and these are a nylon jaw plier. So they have a nylon jaw. These can be used if you want to use them to like straighten out wire, for example. If you have some wire that's a little bit coiled or has a few kinks in it, you can use this to grab onto it and pull across the wire. You don't want to use metal ones to do that because you would nick up your wire doing that. But with these nylon jaw, you're able to pull them across and, straighten out your wire. So these are useful, and just generally straightening out metal so that you don't nick it, right? Because using metal, anytime you grab onto your wire, you're going to nick it if you grab too hard. So these are really great. As Suzanne says, great for wire working. Andrew says it also work hardens the wire if you need a stiffer wire. Yeah, you can start pulling it along and it'll help work harden that wire. All right. Michelle says, I have these. They work great. They really do. They really do. All right. Next up, we have bail making pliers and wire looping pliers. So these are $15.75. The bail making pliers, you get two different sizes there to make bails. So you can use these. And the nice thing about these ones are, I know a lot of people use like rosary pliers to do this sometimes too, but these are all the same size from top to bottom. So no matter where you put this on here, they're not like conical. So no matter where you put it on here to make your bail, it's always going to be the same, right? And it's the same for this side. And that's sometimes really nice because if you're making bails or any type of loop using like rosary pliers, Andrew often tells people to take a Sharpie and mark the exact place because there are cones, so they get smaller and larger. So you mark the place so you make sure you always get the same size loop. Well, on these, they're the same all the way up and down, so you don't have to worry about that. And then you have these. This is a 6-step looping plier. So I forget they start at 2 millimeters. So it's 2 millimeters, 3, 4, 5, 7, and 9. So you can make all different size jump rings on there. Andrew says they can be useful to make bigger jump rings too. Exactly. So, but these will make, and you saw Jen use these. Jen loves these. We ran out and she's like, why didn't you need to order more? Because every class she's telling people, you just need to use these. You need to buy these because they are so useful. And you saw her using these when she was doing the herringbone wire wrapped earrings and making her ear wires, right? So these are great, $18 each. Suzanne says, I have both and use them all the time. All the time. Yeah, these are great. These are great. Highly recommend them. We can't keep these in stock because Jen keeps selling them out. So if you want these, grab them. I just got some new ones in. So if you do want them from us, I hope you'll send us an email and grab those now. And I'm going to go get more stuff. Marianne says 6-step looping pliers is a must, right? If you have not been using them and you've been using like rosary pliers or something else, you will not know how you got by without them once you start using them, and you will be lost if you don't have them. They're really nice. The next line of items we have is this maximum strength comfort size wire workers line of tools, and these have a very nice soft, let me see if I can take them out of here real quick, super nice handles, soft handles, large handles. You can see in my hand they're nice and big, good size, and we have them in all different hold on, I'm gonna get this back on here. This is the bent chain nose. So you can see it's the bent chain nose pliers. Don't look at this picture. It's the same in all these packages. But these are the bent chain nose. This one's $14.50 for the bent chain nose. These are just nice if you like this style and you like this longer handle and the feel of these. It's a whole line, a nice series of these. So bent chain nose. Then next up we have a regular chain nose with this beautiful, nice foam grip. These are $16.25. The next ones of these will all be $16.25. So this is a regular chain nose. Then we have the round nose. You can see that. Those are the round nose. And these are the ones that you can also make, you can make bells using these. And this is what I was saying. So you can see they go from big to small at the tip. And you can use that. You can put a Sharpie mark or something on those so you always make your bell at the same spot. But if you have those 6 steps or the 2-step bell making pliers, it makes it a lot easier because there's no change in size from top to bottom. Andrew says the bent chain nose are awesome if you're doing chainmail. It keeps the tips out of the way from getting caught in the previous links. So you have that one. Then we also have the wide flat nose. Wide flat nose. And these wide flat nose, they are not serrated on the inside. So many flat nose pliers, like if you just go to the, to Lowe's or Home Depot and you're looking for pliers, a lot of people do that, or they take pliers that they have at home. Many of those have teeth on the inside, and people don't think twice about using them sometimes. But what teeth do is mar up your metal. So what you really want to do is have a nice pair of pliers like this that do not have the teeth. They are just flat. Here, let me show you. So see how on the inside there are no teeth on these. These are smooth. And when you're grabbing onto your metal and you're using these to work your metal, you're not constantly grabbing it with those teeth, which make marks in your metal. So these are really nice for that. And we highly recommend. People are always like, oh, I'll just use, we get a lot of women come in, I'll just use my husband's pliers, or I'll use the ones that I have in my tool chest. And that might be fine. But if they are serrated or have teeth, it's not great for jewelry working. So these ones are nice. They have that nice big handle, easy to hold, and they are available $16.25 if you want those. Andrew says wide nose are really nice when you need a clean 90-degree angle, good for box making. Yeah, as you can see, these are very, very sharp. So you can turn that wire up and make that nice angle, or turn metal up. Whatever you're turning up, you get a nice 90-degree angle on that. And then we have a narrow flat nose. So this is a wider flat nose, and then we have this narrow. So I don't know if you can see the difference, but this is a narrow. Let me see if I take these out of here. You might be able to see it better. So these ones narrow, and these ones do not. All right, so there's the difference. Both of them are flat on the inside, non-serrated, so that they're good for jewelry making. But sometimes you want that narrow one so you can get in there a little better. It's just a little bit more precise for some things, but some things you also want the wide head on too, so that you have the wideness the entire way of the working area of the pliers. All right, let me put these back, and I'm going to grab some more. Amanda says, those are nice tools. I think so. I think they are, right? All right. Next up, these are kind of your basic line. If you're just getting started, maybe you don't want anything too, you know, like those were what, $16 each, $14 each. This is like $8.75, and so you have here the round nose pliers, nice white handles. Maybe you want something that's different from your friends. If you're getting together and doing things together, that happens here in classes a lot. We have to keep an idea of which are our tools and which are everyone else's tools. So we try to do different colors sometimes. But this is just a nice, simple way, smaller tools. Marianne says, my tools are smaller sizes. I have small hands. Yeah, these are a smaller tool and just a nice comfort handle, a little bit of a, you know, a little bit of a rubberized coating on there. Andrew says, I like the smaller pairs for my travel kits. Yeah, so Andrew travels with the smaller tools. We have the little cutters in that same one. So those are $10. And then we have the chain nose here as well. And that's $9. So $8.75, $10, and $9 in that little white series that we have. Kind of basic tools. Then we have basic crimping pliers, right? Everybody needs crimping pliers. If you are taking crimp tubes and you are smashing them flat with regular pliers, you are doing it wrong. Probably when we were doing repairs in store, probably 90 to 95% of the repairs that we did were because people took crimping tubes and they'd watch a YouTube, you know, or they'd take a class somewhere and somebody was telling them just to take the tubes and smash them down on the wires flat. You don't want to do that, everybody. You definitely don't want to do that. You want to use crimping pliers and do it the right way. So these crimping pliers, these are standard crimping pliers. These work well with approximately the 2mm crimp tubes. All right, they have two holes, one in the back, one in the front, to do that crimp the proper way, right? And these are good for the 2mm crimp tubes. Andrew says, I'm a big advocate of using tools. I've seen people do a lot of damage to their hands and fingers that could have been avoided if they had used tools, right? Susie says, crimping pliers are great for closing crimp covers. Yes, they are also good for that. You put the little crimp cover in that front one like a Pac-Man and you slowly squeeze it down so that that crimp cover doesn't do this, right? Who has had a crimp cover that comes down, 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 and at the last moment ends up like this? Everybody, right? So these help. You put that in there like a little Pac-Man around it, and you just slowly close it down, and it helps you to close those that way. Let's see here. Now, next up, these are the next size up. So these were 1650. These are 2250. These ones have 3 holes in them. So you have the regular front 2, but you also have a hole in the back for larger. So I believe, yeah, these will go up to 3mm crimp tubes. So if you're doing something larger, you get the 3mm crimp tube hole back here. Then you get the 2mm crimp tube hole back here, and then you get the closing hole there. And these are nice because these have this heavily ergonomic, padded. Oh, I like these ones a lot. And we generally can't keep these in stock, but I have them right now because I just ordered a bunch of stuff. So you definitely want to check that out. You definitely want to check that out. Robin says, I've been looking for good bent nose chain pliers. I think we just did some. You just missed it if you're just tuning in. We had some bent nose pliers earlier. But yes, I think we do. So you can send us an email if you're looking for something like that, and we can send some out to you. And then next, we have the Universal Magical Crimper. So what this does is it takes your tubes, your 2 millimeter, use 2 millimeter here, and it takes them and it uses this forming plate kind of, and it turns your crimp tube into a bead. It turns it into a round bead. And so these are kind of the steps you make. You take it, it turns it into this little small ravioli. Then you keep crimping, and it turns out into a round bead. This takes a little bit of learning. If you're used to these, it takes a little bit of trial and error to get this right. So I recommend trying it a few times before you just go at it on your jewelry. But these are nice if you don't want to have to use crimp covers. If you don't want to use crimp covers, these turn your crimp tubes into round beads if it's done correctly. Like I said, there's a learning curve a little bit to these, but they are nice. They are nice. So you end up with a round bead that you don't have to cover with a crimp cover. So it's really cool. And it's very secure. We've not had any issues with using this or having the crimp tubes eat up the wire or anything like that. Norma says, I think I finally mastered the magical crimpers. It took a while, right? It does. It takes a while. And just like crimp tubes, right? Sometimes, even if you're like a pro at it, sometimes that crimp tube just doesn't flatten out or just doesn't squeeze together right? It happens. But there is a little bit of a learning curve with these, and practice makes perfect on those. Andrew says these are really handy with exposed or flexible wire designs. Yeah, so if you're using like a Softlex and you want to leave exposed wire in between groups of beads, you know, like that floating kind of look, these turn your crimp tubes that you would use to separate those beads into beads themselves instead of having to crimp them and then cover each and every one of those. All right, so there are those. Let me put these back and we'll grab some more. Okay. All right. Let's put these up here. The first one, bent nose plier. Bent nose plier. This is a long nose. A long nose. You can see how long that is. A long nose, bent nose plier. And these are 45-degree bend for hard to reach places. And they have these wonderful, really soft comfort grips. These are $7.95. And if you want those, you can just take a picture, take a screenshot, send it to us in an email. That's what's going down here, telling you how to order from this video. And you can grab those. That's a good price. These are an older group of these that we've had, and we just haven't sold out. So they're at a really good price right now if you're looking for those. All right. Suzanne says, I have those and love them. Yeah, and I think these are a really good price. These are probably a few years old. So yeah, they're just hiding out here on our tool rack. Andrew's asking, what are y'all in the mood for tomorrow for the Tuesday tutorial? What would you like to see Andrew do in the Tuesday tutorial tomorrow? Let him know. Let him know. Next up, we have these little ergonomic cutters. And these are small. So if you have smaller hands, like these would probably be too small for me. But if you have smaller hands, these are probably really up your alley because they're a nice small plier, nice small handles. Hello, Harry. I see you joined in. Thank you. $7.50 for these. Andrew says the price of steel went up in 2020, so these are a good price. Most tools have gone up at least 20%. We do not carry Xuron in the store, Amanda. Amanda's asking if we carry Xuron crimpers. I don't have Xuron in the store right now. Not that we don't like them. We just, we don't sell enough tools to do a lot of ordering from a lot of different places. Especially during the pandemic, we had to cut back because we weren't doing any classes, and we don't advertise our tools on our website. So what we have is what we have right now. Yeah, I would love to carry Xuron though. Like them a lot. All right, next up is a line called Casual Comfort. And these are nice. The nice thing about these is you can see how wide, look how wide those handles are. Andrew says, I talk to Abby a lot, so maybe we'll get some Xuron. That would be nice. They do a really good job with their tools too. But these are nice and wide, and they're kind of a medium size handle. So like even though like I could use these, and I think they'd be pretty comfortable for me. But I like the longer hand, like the Wire Workers series. But these are nice. And again, I have about 4 of these different pliers, and they have the same kind of handles. You know, I'm a stickler for wanting, like when I buy something, I want the set. Like I'm that person. So if I were buying these, like I want all of this set, or I want all of the other set. So yeah, you know, maybe you like the set. And these are nice, and they have some weight to them, so they feel nice and substantial. Here, I'll take one out for you. They have a nice spring action to them, and they feel good. These feel, yeah, I could use these. These feel really nice. And I think if you had smaller hands, you could still use these. I like these wider handles. So this one is the chain nose plier. And the chain nose plier is, I think it's $9.50. Come on. $9.50. Okay. So there are those. Here's another bent chain nose plier in this Casual Comfort kind of wider handle. And this is $9.25. So bent chain nose available there for all of you looking for those. And then we also have the flush cutters in this Casual Comfort. And the nice thing about these are the handles are the same size, right? Sometimes when you pick up one tool and it's a different brand or it's a different series than what you're using, it's hard to get used to, right? You're constantly switching sizes of handles. Like when I use tools here, because we have a mishmash of tools for classes, it's a little harder because you're going from a big handle to a little handle, and it's hard to get used to it, right? So sometimes you just want the series that you enjoy, that's good for you and fits you well, and then you try and make all of your tools as close to that as possible. So these are flush cutters if you need them in that series, and then we also have the round nose in this series. So the flush cutters were $10.50, the round nose are $10. All right. So there are those. And then we have this series, which is an ergonomic series. They're super fine ergonomic flat nose. This is a flat nose with the spring. So these are a little bit smaller handle, but they have that nice ergonomic handle on them. I like these because my fingers fit right in this area almost perfectly. My thumb fits there, this one fits there, and I can work because they have such a kind of a collar right here that stops your hand from going further when you're working a little bit, and I like that. So these are a little bit small for me, I would say. I probably would use these more if I had a traveling kit. I would love those as a traveling kit to keep my stuff smaller when I'm packing it up. But I do like these handles because of that little collar. I love the handles that have that collar on them. and that's $10.25 for those. Again, that's the flat nose. We also have that series, $9.50 with the side cutter, and then $12 for the bent chain nose. So that's a bent chain nose plier in there. Andrew says, I'd love to carry more tools at the store. You have to travel pretty far since no one sells them locally. We plan to do more metalsmithing classes there potentially. Oh, at the new store. Yeah, up in Johnstown. So we may have even more tools up there when we open. I'll put these back and grab some more things. All right, and I think this is the last set of things we're going to do. First, I have these ergo ones. Like I showed you the cutters in those. We also have this in the flat nose, the wide flat nose. So that's at $12. So I only have those two in that series right now. Of course, we have the big cutters. So this is if you're doing memory wire. Memory wire cutters. If you are cutting memory wire, please, 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 please do not use your regular cutters. Memory wire is hardened, it's super hard, and most likely it will nick up and destroy your regular wire cutters. So if you're cutting like Soflex and you have nice cutters for that, and then you go and you like, oh, this is just memory wire, I'm going to cut this with these. You will end up nicking and ruining your cutters. So these are bigger and stronger and harder, and they are meant, if I can get this open, maybe not. Why won't you come out of there? Oh, they're stapled in, sorry. But these open up nice and wide. You put your wire in there and cut down on it. So use these. If you don't have these, don't cut memory wire without something like this, because it will nick up your regular cutters. All right. Andrew says, a more advanced technique is modifying plier tips with files and sandpaper. The less expensive tools are great for this since you don't want to spend a lot on them and then grind them down. Yeah, don't buy expensive ones and then start grinding on them unless you really know what you're doing. Andrew said this is a shearing action. Yeah, these open up wide and come down and shear, like with two, they cut the wire that way, which is a lot better than trying to cut it this way, right? You cut it this way, you put the wire in and it stops. When you're shearing, you're cutting through, and that's what these do. They cut through. All right. Who wants a hole punch? You want a hole punch? Need a metal hole punch? Here's a metal hole punch plier. This is $19.50. This gives you a 1.5 millimeter hole. So it punches a 1.5 millimeter hole in sheet stock up to 22 gauge. Up to 22 gauge. All right. So it actually comes with an extra little tip in there. So if this one wears out on you, you have a replacement. All right. So there you go. We have those in stock. We also have this punch in stock, which is great for leather. So it's a rotary hand sewing leather punch, and you can punch 0.8 millimeters. I don't know if you can see that. 1 millimeter, 1.2, 1.5, and 2, just by turning this dial to what you want to punch. All right. So this is great if you're using leather and you need holes in your leather. It will pierce holes in lightweight. It's classified for lightweight leather, so 0.5 to 5 ounce leather. And this is $24 if you need that. Then we have these. So these have, this is a metal one, this is the wooden one. These have all these different tips to do different things. These are diamond grit tips. These are diamond points inside here as well. And it's a reamer set. So depending on how you might need to ream out your beads, they both have the same thing pretty much. They're just different handles, different ways of carrying it, depending on what you want. This one's $14, this one's $18, and they're bead reamers. So if you have, sometimes beads come with bead release stuck in them, or these may not be great for pearls because they may be a little bit too big for reaming out most of your holes in pearls. But this one has 3 tips. This one actually has 4 in there. I think 4 tips in there, 4 interchangeable tips. All right. Susan says, I have the one on the left. It comes in very handy at times. These certainly do. They certainly do. If you're like, this bead just came off of a strand. It has to somehow go back on the strand, but you're not getting it to work. Sometimes you just need to ream out the hole a little bit, and that helps you do it. Andrew says, it's always good to read the packaging because it tells you what the cutters are rated for. It'll tell you the gauges of metal you can cut. If you use it for something it's not rated for, it might work, but it can fatigue the metal and make the tips break off. All right, so there you have those. And I think, I'm just looking around, those are the tools that we have. Oh, one more thing. One more thing before I end. We just got more of these in. I don't have many of them, but it's bead stoppers. So when you are, using your spool of Softflex, for example, and you're using the spool to keep the beads on one end, but what is keeping the beads on the other end if you need to set it down? These. You can use these. These are little springs. You squeeze them apart. Let me see if this will, nope, they're stapled shut too. You squeeze these apart and the springs open and you put the wire between there and they hold everything on. Now you can use a lot of things for that. Some people use like those binder clips. You can use binder clips. You can use a lot, but these are nice. They're convenient. We have multiple sizes, so there's bigger ones in here and smaller ones in here, depending on your project. If you're using little tiny beads, you might just want a little one. But we have these available, $7.75 for the pack, and there's 8 pieces in each pack. All right. Excuse me. All right, let me flip the camera around real quick. We'll say a quick goodbye. And then I've got to get home. There we go. Susan says, I love bead stoppers. They work better than binder clips, in my honest opinion. Yes. Binder clips sometimes do that thing where they pop off. Or you think you have your beading wire in there, and for some reason there's a little lip in there and your beading wire comes out. So the bead stoppers are much better, I think. But when you're in a pinch, a binder clip will do. If you get it, make sure you get it on there tight. Andrew says, I use tape in a pinch, but it can make your wire sticky. Yeah, you can use Scotch tape too. Puts tape around it at the end. You just got to make sure that it does stick to the wire. It doesn't slide right off. And it can, if you leave it on too long, make things sticky. Susan says, thanks. Thank you for watching. Marianne loves bead stoppers too. Andrew said some clips are good, but they can dent the wire and cause a kink. That's true too. You can dent up your wire, kink up your wire. If you're already done, with your project, you're not so worried about that. But if you're like in the middle of a project, Like, we get a lot of people who start to learn how to do jewelry here with us, but they're not confident enough yet to do their own crimping, right? So they do all their necklaces and they work throughout the week. And then they want to bring their stuff in here to class on Friday so that they can go over crimping again. And they already have all this stuff done. And they're using anything they possibly can to keep those ends secure so that all the beads don't fall off. And so sometimes they use different kinds of clips and they do kink their wires. And it's not so bad when it's, like I said, when your necklace is done and it's on the end, that's not so bad. But if you're going to go back and you're like halfway through your necklace and you put one of those clips on and it's too tight or it kinks it in a weird way, then you are kind of stuck, because you can't, it's very difficult to unkink any beading wire, right? Susan says, learning proper crimping can be tricky. It can. We get a lot of people, like I said, they take a class or two with us. We practice crimping with them once or twice, maybe, right, before the end. But then they go home and they're like, how did I do that again? And so they make a bunch of stuff and then they come in for help with that again. So it's definitely one of those things, and those bead stoppers really help. We sell a lot of those. I usually don't even have them in stock because they're hard to keep in stock, but I do have, I think, 2 packs right now. Andrew says, kinking wire can create weak spots in the wire, so best not to kink it. Yeah, that's another truth too. So that's what we have for you today. Tomorrow, Andrew's going to do a tutorial with you. I don't think I saw anybody mentioning what kind of tutorial they might want from Andrew. So let us know in the comments what you would like to possibly see him teach tomorrow or demonstrate tomorrow. And then on Wednesday, I hope we're caught up to the point on Wednesday when we can start showing some of the gemstones from Tucson, because we have not released any of those other than the ones he showed in the hotel there. Andrew says, we're going to do a yard work tutorial. If it's warm enough. I didn't think it was supposed to be warm enough yet. I don't know what it's supposed to be over the next few days. Let's see. Nope, it's going to be, well, in the mid 40s. I don't know if that's warm enough or not. And rainy. So, and snowy. Oh, great. It's supposed to snow tonight and tomorrow. So we'll see what happens. So yeah, thanks for joining in, everybody. If you have any questions, let us know. If you'd like to purchase any things you saw today, it's right along here. Please go ahead and take a screenshot of that. You can rewind if you're on YouTube while we're live, or you can wait until the end on Facebook and rewatch the video and grab those screenshots. If you didn't, send us an email and we will invoice you through Square. That's what we use for our in-store inventory. Our whole store here functions on Square. So we will send you a Square invoice. It will ask you for payment and your shipping address. But we do need your shipping state before we send you an invoice. If we don't have it already, if you're in Pennsylvania, we need to charge you sales tax. That's pretty much what it amounts to. And yeah, that's all I've got for you today. Thanks for tuning in. Thanks for helping me clear my brain a little bit. It helps sometimes just to chat with people. And we're so thankful for all of you out there. So thanks so much for tuning in today. And we will see you back here. Andrew will be back here tomorrow with you for a new tutorial or demo. And we'll be back for more goodies on Wednesday. All right. Thanks, everybody. Have a great evening or a great morning or a great afternoon, wherever it is in your neck of the woods. And we'll be back to see you again soon. Bye, everybody.